million boxers out there, bro. A few names is mentioned. And we got that success quick. It means a lot when you take a kid from scratch. Watching them grow up. You get to know them as a person. And they start to come into their self. I've seen the best of them yet. I haven't seen the best of them yet. There's levels to this game. Levels.
It don't matter who I fight. I just want to bring excitement to that ring.
Outstanding second round knockout tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank God for my fans.
You walked into this ring tonight in front of all your fans. You walked into the ring in top of the stage. First bout, headlining on the first bout fighting now as a pro. Your thoughts as you walked to the ring?
It was time to have fun now.
What's your record right now?
Actually, for the day, I'm four knockouts.
How long you been fighting now?
11 years. I started fighting when I was 7. I'm 18 now. I was fighting on the streets since younger for one day my uncle saw me fighting, so both my uncles came together for and they got me into the gym. It means a lot to represent Baltimore. Me being reachable to the youth, they seeing what I've been through and seeing what I'm going through. That's why I wanted to stay in Baltimore, give them that hope. No matter where you come from, once you put your mind and soul into it, you can overcome anything. I owe the city of Baltimore, a big one. They showed support in July when I first won my world title. Extremely hard. The ultimate goal is to make this kid a household name and to make him a pay-per-view star. When you're in this position, you must take advantage of it. Opportunities like this come once in a lifetime.
Moving on up 2 weight classes against by far.
Once I'm in there as a fighter, I'm like that for beast.
There's a combination by Davis. Pepper got it down. Goes Mike Davis is a champion at 130.
When you're a kid and some of your teammates are dying like that, it's hard. It's hard to stay on the grind. It's hard to stay and do what he's done. So you gotta kind of give it up. You gotta kind of give it up for what he's become and hopefully what he will be. Because man, he's kind of beat the odds. When 4 more of your teammates have been killed, taken by the street, gone way too soon, and you still become a world champion, it wasn't because Tank was like, I don't mess with these guys. These are guys. These were his like.
Yo, what it is, people, we is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And we in Baltimore City to talk about somebody that I probably should have been talked about, man. That's the world champ, Gervonta Davis. And Gervonta Davis is actually in the news right now, and what's crazy, that's what brought up this whole video. I think I caught on to that situation that him and Mayweather had going on early on. Think maybe like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning yesterday. So it started off like that. It started off with me ready to do a video talking about Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis got problems to basically a whole Gervonta Davis documentary, y'all. I don't know how it happened, yo, but that's how it happened. But I think I would rather do it this way because I don't even know if what those guys got going on is real. You understand? That's the time we living in. But in this video, like I said, we talking about Gervonta Davis, yo. We're going to talk about the rise of Gervonta Davis because one thing that I noticed, you know, between when Mayweather and Gervonta Davis had their back and forth is a lot of people is crediting Mayweather for Gervonta Davis being where he's at. And in this video, I'm going to show y'all that I'm not going to say Mayweather had nothing to do with it because I think he had some type of responsibility. But I don't think it's big as most people might think, yo, because in Baltimore, we been knew Gervonta Davis was a star. So before I get into all of that, like I said, it's a long video. We're going to touch on we're going to touch on a number of a few things. We're going to talk about his relationship to Baltimore, what he does when he's in Baltimore. We're going to talk about his career. And we're just going to talk about the come up and the people, more importantly, the people that helped him get there. Because I think those guys deserve their flowers. And I think a lot of times, like, since Mayweather is the face, and since we known Mayweather for so many years, people credit Mayweather with the rise of Gervonta Davis, yo. And I don't think it's that deep like most people say. So when you see him disrespect Mayweather or have things to say about Mayweather, it's not like he biting the hand that fed him. No, that's not what it is. But in order for us to do all of that, y'all, we first got to start at the historic.
Pennsylvania Avenue was, in its heyday, a historic, busy corridor filled with shops and restaurants and after-hour clubs. In the past decade, it's become run down. Many of its residents moved away. Many of its shops went out of business.
People that grew up walking down Pennsylvania Avenue back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest stars of that time was normal. In the early to mid-20th century, Pennsylvania Avenue was the Broadway of Old West Baltimore. People came from around the country to celebrate black art and entertainment.
Whether it was Louis Armstrong, or whether it was the Temptations, the Miracles, whether it was Patti LaBelle, whether it was Aretha Franklin, all of those folks played the Royal Theater.
A long time coming, but I know.
The Royal Theater was the place you had to be at your best.
If you did not do well at the Royal Theater in Baltimore, you weren't going to make it in the entertainment business.
The Chitlin Circuit was a black theater circuit throughout the United States that allowed black artists to perform during the era of racial segregation. Pennsylvania Avenue was the center of the black entertainment world. That all changed in 1968 when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed.
The riots took place in cities across the country, and it took place here on Pennsylvania Avenue as well. And the problem is that someone made a decision that Pennsylvania Avenue was not worth revitalization, and it's been abandoned, really neglected for over 50-some years. When we talk about the crime and what's going on, we talk about the culture. You've got to change the culture, and in order to change the culture, we need to educate our folks on our history and legacy, and we have to change this environment that our young people are growing up in.
Now, Pennsylvania Avenue is where Gervonta Davis is from, man. Pennsylvania Avenue is also home of the Upton Boxing Center. That's where Gervonta Davis and Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny reside. You know, that's where they do their work at. That's where they teach these kids boxing. And Pennsylvania Avenue was always a historic place in Baltimore. It was actually like, if you listen to them, you listen to the news and how they speak about it, Pennsylvania Avenue was a hub for black art back in the 60s and the 50s. Now, Pennsylvania Avenue then drastically changed over the years, you know, and you heard why. And I didn't even know this. I learned this by doing this video that it was riots going on in the 60s, you know, after Dr. King died. And Baltimore rioted. You know, Baltimore has always been one of them places that riot. Now, organically, I don't know, but Baltimore has always been one of them places. We watched the Freddie Gray riots in 2015, and it actually happened on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is crazy. But one of the things that happened throughout that riot, or one of the results of the riot, was Pennsylvania Avenue was never rebuilt. And now we got a whole different Pennsylvania Avenue than what we had back then. Pennsylvania Avenue in the 50s and 60s was part of the Chitlin Circuit. Y'all heard what the Chitlin Circuit is. It's a circuit where comedians and actresses and actors and, you know, bands went because you was dealing with black Jim Crow. But now Pennsylvania Avenue is a hub for Baltimore, but it's a hub for something different. Right now in Pennsylvania Avenue, you got pretty much an open drug market, y'all, but this is where Gervonta Davis is from. This is the Pennsylvania Avenue that Gervonta Davis grew up, because Pennsylvania Avenue been this way for at least the last 20, 30, 40 years. You understand what I'm saying? Since the 60s. So a lot of people don't really understand Gervonta Davis. You know, I done heard things like he's arrogant, he's taking advantage of the opportunity, you know, because every now and then Gervonta Davis will find himself in some type of trouble.
Hands behind your back. Hey, the little one inside.
You don't gotta ask me about it.
Well, we need to make sure she's with somebody.
She's okay. She's with somebody.
Okay.
Mr. Davis was arrested and charged with battery causing bodily harm. However, he was sentenced to no jail time and the charges were eventually dropped.
Techwood Drive, you give it a address. We're on Georgia Tech campus. Techwood Drive.
Baltimore native and boxing champ Gervonta Tank Davis is sent to jail less than a month after he was ordered to serve 3 months of home detention. He was taken into custody after an impromptu hearing yesterday, and now he will finish his 90-day sentence in the Baltimore City Jail. Deputies say Davis violated the terms of his home detention sentence in a 2020 hit-and-run crash. He said his home was too small, so he moved to the Four Seasons Hotel, but did not get permission from the judge. He received his 90-day sentence after pleading guilty in February to a crash that injured 4 people.
The historic Pennsylvania Avenue is not as historic that it once was, man. Pennsylvania Avenue done changed drastically. And I told y'all, the Pennsylvania Avenue that we just seen riding up the street, that's the Pennsylvania Avenue that Gervonta Davis grew up in, man. So if you take a child from that environment and give him millions, you know, that's what we're dealing with. We got to make sure we remember that. We talking about Baltimore, the trenches, a hub in Baltimore City, open-air drug market in Baltimore City, and the products that's going to come out of there is normally going to be rough. So when you consider Gervonta Davis and all the legal troubles that he been in, you know, because a lot of people, it's hard on him for that. A lot of people think he messing up the bag. A lot of people say, yo, what is the champ doing? Why is he crashing out like this? But you got to understand, and that's the whole point of this video, to understand that Gervonta Davis was a street kid from Baltimore. He grew up in the streets fighting. If you listen to people that's around his age, they'll tell you Gervonta Davis been beating people up since Shake and Bake. And Shake and Bake is a skate ring on Pennsylvania Avenue. So he always had it. Always had it. That's what I want people to see also in this video, that he always had it. And though Floyd Mayweather helped, the bulk of the help is going to go to Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny, because those are the guys that's tasked with keeping Gervonta Davis on a straight and narrow. Even though he fly right sometimes, you know, he might verge off, but you got to remember, at this point, we dealing with a kid in his 20s who's a first-generation millionaire. Like, we're not talking about a guy that's used to money. We talking about a person that, and more than likely in his family, he's the first person to ever get rich. And whenever you got money and you got power, it's going to come with obligation. And a lot of times, you might fall short of that obligation when you still learning. So, I wasn't surprised when I seen Gervonta Davis still in the streets of Baltimore.
But I was hitting the brake on the donuts, because I was donutting that bitch. I ain't even understand. And then he'll spin, and you will come. yo. Listen, this listen, Mike come back. No. Listen, this got way more power. Yo, you can't ride it.
And there's people up at there.
Listen, yo. Listen. Yeah, this got way more weight. It's a full. I'm not at you talking about let him ride. No, yo. I get him. Don't ride it. Watch out, yo.
I seen Gervonta Davis moving like this. If I'm being honest, y'all, I say, yo, what is he doing? What is he doing? Baltimore is not one of them cities that you can do this. This is not Miami. You understand? Even though at the same time I gotta acknowledge the fact that kids love this. I'm talking about, I bumped into them in traffic one time. You might see 30, 40 cars, kids riding bikes, all following the pack, all because they want to be around stardom, yo. And I'm going to be real, and if I'm being honest, the kids need that. The kids need that. They need to see somebody that's from their environment, somebody that they still see, even though it look like to me, Baltimore is kicking Gervonta Davis out. And I don't know why these cities do this. Every time you got a person coming up from a city and they reach some type of success, even if they want to stay there, the city kicks them out. Now, people might say it's a good or bad thing, yo, but I'm thinking the reason being is some type of nefarious reason. I don't know. But when you seeing them kids following Gervonta Davis, and when you just watch that video of the interactions, man, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe, and at this time, Gervonta Davis was champion. They couldn't believe that he was right there in their presence. You talking about somebody that we watch on TV, somebody that we idolize. A lot of them kids probably is in that gym. And now he's here. He's having fun. It just lets you know that he is one of us. And that's what Gervonta Davis is. Gervonta Davis is a Baltimorean. Gervonta Davis is from the streets of Baltimore. But I didn't like that situation. Because just like you're going to have the people that congratulate like me and the kids that need to see it, you also going to have some haters. And I think it was some blowback behind that. Just my opinion. You understand? But when you growing up in the streets of Baltimore, regardless of how situations happen, you're going to catch L's. You're going to have people that lose their life. And every time I talk about these figures or these people that reach some type of success from the streets of Baltimore, from the city of Baltimore, you're going to deal with loss. And there's two ways you can go about it. You can have the loss or take the loss and it can really affect you. It can put you in a depression. It can put you in a down state. Or you can capitalize off it. You can move off it. And I think we saying Gervonta Davis.
Don't know nothing, are you now?
That's the face about absolutely.
So when you speak about the champion, I think it's important to mention this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a kid who's a man now from Baltimore City that lost people in Baltimore City that got the whole city behind. I'm talking about y'all. I told somebody not too long ago, I said, man, if Gervonta Davis loses, it's going to be a riot wherever he lose at. You understand? Because, and I know he knows this, it's so much riding on him, y'all. I never seen a city back a person like how we back Gervonta Davis. I'm talking about he can have a fight in Aruba. And Baltimore City is going to be right there to support the people that can go. I promise you. And Gervonta Davis noticed that. That's why he said what he said in the beginning clips. Like, man, my city support me. They go everywhere I go. And that's what Baltimore does. They go everywhere Gervonta Davis go. And we're going to support him no matter what. I don't care what the world say about him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, That's the love that we have for one of ours. But a lot of times when you're dealing with people from Baltimore and then you got people on the outside watching, they be looking like, yo, what's up with dude? You understand? But remember, this is a guy that's carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders. He got a whole city he's carrying. He got his dead friends who he credited the ones that kept him going. He is carrying this all with him to every fight. So Gervonta Davis, in my opinion, won't be losing for a very long time because I don't think he can. Straight up. I think Gervonta Davis is so focused on boxing and he's well aware of the pressures that he got behind him. You understand? Man, Gervonta Davis ain't ready to lose no fight, man. Straight up. That's how when he fought Ryan Garcia, I said, man, Gervonta Davis gonna beat Shorty, man. Because you dealing with a different level of pain, a different element of pressure when you talking about Gervonta Davis and everything that comes along with him, y'all. This is not your average boxer. This is a guy that grew up in a group home. A guy that's been tutored under the likes of Coach Calvin.
You got parents want the best for their kids. I understand that too. But they don't understand business. You got to look at which kid is in line of success first. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Chuck was fighting for an Olympic belt and Tank was fighting for a world title, which one I go with?
The world title?
The world title. That's just real talk. Now, Tank won a world title, and I got a kid fighting for the Olympic belt. Which one I go with? I'm going with the Olympic belt this time. Reason why? Because we accomplished that. You should be able to do it again.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to weigh these things out.
Now, to me, and I think to most people want to know, Coach Calvin and his relationship to Gervonta Davis is what propelled both these guys to great lengths. And I think they still got further, if it's any further they can go. You feel me? Because Coach Calvin is not just a coach. Coach Calvin is like a mentor. Coach Calvin is a mentor to so many kids and youth in Baltimore. So many kids run through that Upton Boxing Center. And Coach Calvin takes those kids, and mold them and makes them be productive people, man. And that's all you can expect from a black man of the community, a black man that never left the community. You know, how many people do that, man? How many people got a world-class boxer, managing a world-class boxer that he looks more like a son to him? You understand? Coach Calvin and Gervonta Davis is like father and son. I think Coach Calvin lost his son in the streets of Baltimore. But Coach Calvin has also been in trouble. Coach Calvin was actually a kingpin in the streets of Baltimore. So, for him to get Gervonta Davis and take a liking to Gervonta Davis, I think he said his son introduced him to him before his son passed. Don't get me wrong, I think his son passed though, y'all, but don't quote me on that. But for Coach Calvin to take a liking to Gervonta Davis, man, decide to mold Shorty, and then still stay in the city, so he's still accessible, he's still at that gym, he's still training other kids to be the next Gervonta Davis. I think that's what propels Gervonta Davis, as well as Coach Kenny. Gotta throw him in there because Coach Kenny is also an active member at Upton Boxing Gym. But I think that's what propels Gervonta Davis the great lengths. And I think Gervonta Davis would have got here. It might have took a little bit longer, but he'd have got here with those two guys behind him, even if they never even had Floyd Mayweather. So when you see Gervonta Davis in this back and forth with Floyd Mayweather and this lack of respect that it seemed like he had for Floyd Mayweather, just know that it's understand it. Because I'm going to let y'all into something. The city of Baltimore, not even the streets, but the city of Baltimore, Maryland, and the people that was in the know, we always thought that Floyd Mayweather was the one holding Gervonta back. That's why, if you notice, he didn't start getting these big fights until after he separated from Gervonta, because Floyd had a rule, like, he didn't want him to fight certain fighters, and it's like, yo, that's not who Shorty is. He a Doug. You got to let him loose. Gervonta Davis ain't going to duck no fight. So when you hear people talk about, man, he ducked, man, that boy ain't ducking no fight, it just got to make sense for him, money-wise. Now, if it makes sense for him money-wise, I see Gervonta Davis fighting anybody. When it was a problem with him fighting people, it was Floyd Mayweather. That's why he had to separate from him. And they probably still got some type of relationship, but it looked like it's not what it was. At least when they had him. It don't look like it's what it was, because what we know was Floyd Mayweather was holding Gervonta back. That's why Gervonta not fighting the world-class fighters like most people say he need to. But I think we're going to see him fight some more world-class fighters. You see what he did to Ryan Garcia. I'm expecting something similar with Frank Martin when they fight. I think it's next month. But I just wanted to do this video because I say, I think these guys deserve their flowers. And Gervonta Davis is not just a boxer. He's a person of the community. You know, he just bought some houses in the community that ultimately end up getting burnt down, similar to what happened with Moose situation. For people that watched that video, it's saying like whenever you got a black kid doing any type of good in the city and something happens, you got houses being burnt down. I don't know what that's about. But what makes Gervonta Davis, man, is a combination of a few things, man. You got good tutelage. He come under some good people, man. Coach Calvin is a good person. Coach Kenny are good people. These are people that dedicated their life to these kids. You know, even if it never even got to world-class status, they was going to be in them gym helping them kids because they know it's important, y'all. We talking about Baltimore, man. One of the worst cities in the United States. I say that every time I had this type of conversation because I need people. Plus, there's always new watchers. I need people to understand this. We talking about the trenches of the trenches, the low of the low. We talking about poverty level about 59% or some shit per 100,000 or something. Whatever it is, it's low. Economics, low. School system, low. So you need these black people, these black figures. You need what's my man's name? Uncle T. You need these guys in the community, man. These guys that been through things. These guys that been to prison. These guys that may have lost a child. These guys that made mistakes, you know, to put their arms around these youth, man, and guide them in the right way, because without them, where would they be? Without them, where would they be? Where would Gervonta Davis be without Coach Calvin and Kenny, man? Gervonta Davis might be in jail because that's the way his life was set. You talk about a group home. You know, we seen this before where you might see a child in a group home, next thing you know they in prison. But Coach Calvin got Gervonta Davis at a relatively young age, and we talking about he was fighting at that age before he even got in the gym. Coach Calvin got Gervonta Davis at a young age. Gervonta Davis put the work in. He got the work ethic. You see the structure. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, Gervonta Davis is Baltimore and the world's champion, and I think we're going to continue to see Gervonta Davis doing great.
From nearby Baltimore, Maryland, he's the defending world champion and the popular star of boxing, the 5-time 3-division champion of the world, Gervonta "Tank" Davis.
We the shit, and we gon' be the shit. The whole Brody see this shit. Everybody wanna be me and shit. I've been trying to make a way so many times. I done prayed. We all get about this shit before the Lord come and take it. And I got lean and stress. Drink up, come take it. Don't talk, I plead the fifth. On me, I keep it stiff. Hold up, I need a minute. They ain't see me like this. Why I gotta be like this? It's all how I go, I get it. I swear ain't shit the same. Niggas let's not get these chains. Switch you can feel this pain. I've been trying to go far away, and I'm just one step away. I hate thinking about yesterday. Can't do what I'm blessed the game. And we good, I'm extra great. We the shit, and we gon' be the shit. I hope Brody see this shit. Everybody wanna be me and shit.
And it's really due to two men, Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, you know Calvin. Coach Calvin is reserved, he's quiet, he certainly doesn't talk about himself a lot. But I am glad to see that he is getting the recognition he deserves, not just as a boxing trainer, but as a trainer of young men. Because that is what is at the heart of what Calvin Ford does in his gym.
But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. This is another day of Keep It G News.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.